Welcome back, my friends. Whether you are a home buyer or seller in and around Columbus, Ohio, an appraisal is a key part of the whole process. And in many cases, a real estate evaluation and appraisal seem to be purely arbitrary and overly complicated. Fundamentally, though, an appraisal is data-driven. It is simply an opinion about the home's value derived from similar housing data and neighborhood data. That's why you need to stop believing these 4 home appraisal stories in and around Columbus, Ohio. I'm Annette Marble. I'm with Key Realty, and my husband, Doug Marble, is an appraiser for the state of Ohio. We own and operate Appraisal Services Now LLC. If this is the first time to this channel and you want to know everything about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good and the bad about living in and around Columbus, Ohio, then subscribe to this channel, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market in and around Columbus, Ohio. All right, let's get started. Number 1, the appraiser works for and is on the side of the buyer. This is a common misconception, is the appraiser works for the buyer and that the valuation as a result could be screwed in the favor of the buyer. While the buyer does in fact pay for the home appraisal, the appraiser is actually hired by and works for the lender who owns their work and the appraiser of the appraisal. It doesn't matter if the buyer and the seller have already reached an agreement on the price. The buyer's lender is also making an investment, and so everyone needs to be on the same page. It is in fact a criminal offense for anyone, either the buyer or the seller, to pressure or coerce an appraiser into coming up with a certain value. Further, appraisers are unlike agents and inspectors. They have to answer to the government regulatory agencies. Number 2, more amenities and bigger house means a higher valuation. Upgrades, improvements, and many amenities and lots of square footage don't necessarily translate into a higher valuation. The home appraisal isn't that simple. The value of the house is calculated on the basis of the sales data from similar homes in that neighborhood. So if a house has more amenities, filled and much larger than any other in the neighborhood, then the appraiser won't have any sales data to work with. In that case, a larger home with all the bells and whistles may not be appraised for what the parties involved think it's worth. Basically, if the surrounding houses that have been appraised and or sold were built on the lot of the house in question, that's what you would use to determine its appraised value. Number 3, an appraisal equals a home inspection. Another appraisal story floating around out there is that a home inspection is the same thing as a home appraisal and vice versa. Although both inspector and appraisal inspect the property to determine its condition, the similarities end there, and they are safeguarding the buyer and the lender, but they are different processes. An inspector's job is primarily to detect any end problems and even potential problems with the home. An appraiser's job, on the other hand, is to determine the objective marketing value of the same house. Of course, an appraiser will, just like an inspector, note conditions of wiring, plumbing, roof, and so on, but as a means to arrive to a valuation for the lender. Number 4, there's nothing you can do about the low home appraisal in the Columbus, Ohio market. Although if you are a seller and the home appraisal comes in much lower than what you think it should be, you do have a recourse. Bear in mind that mistakes do happen, mistakes that can severely jeopardize a potential deal. In such a case, the homeowner, the seller, can and should contact the buyer's lender and request another appraisal. Before you even reach that stage, though, you should, according to the real estate experts, get an appraisal of your own done before the lender appraisal takes place. Keep in mind, too, that the federal law stipulates that a copy of the appraisal must be supplied to the consumer who has written requested for that. If you're entertaining the real estate market in and around Columbus, Ohio, then just be aware of these appraisal stories. Whether you're a buyer or a seller, we can help. We get calls and emails every day from people just like you looking for help on their move to Columbus, and we absolutely love it. Whether you're planning on moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email so we can help you make that smooth move to Columbus, Ohio, or any of its fabulous suburbs in Central Ohio. We are your go-to team to help. And as always, we're keeping it real in real estate in and around Columbus, Ohio with Annette Marble and Associates.